Hey guys, welcome back to Prepping in Progress. I'm Steve, and today we're going to crawl our way, tiptoe our way, and then kind of, backdoor our way into Rick's area of expertise. So, Rick, I fully expect comments, you're doing it wrongs, etc. So, stay with us. Okay, guys, I am sitting here in front of one of the cabins with a member of the ragweed family. So, hello, sir. Tell us about yourself. Well, as a member of the ragweed family, people who are allergic to me should not eat me, or at least be very, very careful. I'd like y'all to meet lamb's quarters. This is the more adult version. And right here we have what you're probably going to find out on the trail or in your yard. Now, why are we discussing this? To be honest, lamb's quarters are a bit of a pain to pick, clean, etc. But they can be used just like any other green. They can be just plain boiled up, little salt, little water, or any recipe you've got in your repertoire that you can use Swiss chard. Lamb's quarters will grow in flower beds and will quickly get big and take over. So, yeah. Talk about your natural foraging source while you are, just slowly growing things. And shoot, some people might even take that for a weed, not realize that, yeah. So, this is a more mature plant. And, hey, Rick, what else we got for this thing? Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to pull up some of it. I'm going to go and do some cooking of it. Let's take a look at the underside of the leaves of the mature plant versus the not so mature plant and see if there are any differences. Sorry, buddy, I might have to put you back in there. As you can tell, there's a little bit of a difference, a little more. Sorry, that's not going to work. I'll have to get it to you inside. So, yeah, let's do the magic of a video and move some stuff around. Okay, so yeah, I'm pulling this out of the yard, the driveway. Apparently, it's all edible. We're looking at these little pieces as well as the leaves. Now, my take on this is that these leaves are probably more tender on the smaller plant, but yeah. I have a helper that is off camera, so if she says anything, talks, gives advice, etc., there are people here. They're watching. The ultra secret tactical bug out location has been compromised. Blink, blink, blink. Blink, blink, blink. Blink, blink, blink. My hammies are going to look at me and go, Steve, you're an idiot. So, yeah. Yeah, these, technically, as part of the ragweed family and whatnot, these are a weed. And when you cook it up, you're going to be eating weeds. I'm not going to argue. I do have this whole thing that's dead right here. They're already pulled up. Here. Try that one. But you know, we often talk about how the great white hype will say, I'm going to bug out to the woods, I'm going to live off of roots and berries and kill deer and bear and whatnot in America when the times get rough. Well, I mean, seriously, guys, let's go back and look at the Great Depression. Why do we have to pay for a tax stamp for a sound suppressor for a firearm? To be honest, they got tired of people going out and poaching, so they put a $200 tax stamp on a sound suppressor and made it more difficult for you to poach a deer out of season without getting caught. Funny thing is, many European countries actually require you to own sound suppressors for your firearms because it's safer that way and easier on your ears. But where I'm going with this is I'm actually going to try to replant this little guy and see if I can get him to give me a little bit more. But looking back to the Great Depression, you know, a lot of people wanted meat and potatoes and whatnot. Yes.
These are the leaves you don't want.
Oh, really? So, guys, these, take a good look, are the leaves that you don't want, probably because they have been ate on by buggies and other things.
And they're older.
And they are older. You can hear her. She's pretty much got her head on straight. So, you know, back to the Great Depression. Everyone's out in the woods, wandering around, shooting anything that moves, including each other, thinking, I thought he was a deer. The government's coming along with all kinds of new restrictions, trying to preserve the animals and whatnot. And times are hard. Meanwhile, your great great grandmother is out in the yard picking weeds, dandelions, Swiss char, lamb's quarters. There's another one that I miss. We used to have it up in Lincoln. It was called lamb's ear. That was really soft and just wonderful to.
Couldn't eat it though.
You couldn't eat it, but it was toilet paper.
Cattails.
Cattails, also known as the hot dogs of the wild edibles family. You know, you joke and you see all the memes with people putting mustard on them, but actually, the roots and tubers are very close to potatoes. Um, but like I say, we're over here pinching off the lamb's quarter um, leaves. Now, what about these? What do you think about these?
That's the seed.
That's the seed. So
And
if I do this and kind of, is it germinated or?
I think these are not yet ready.
Then why am I pulling them out of the ground if they're not yet ready? I want my lamb's quarters to be fruitful and multiply.
Did you plant these last year?
Don't remember.
No, they are volunteers. Silly.
And this is why Rick does the wild edibles section of class. So, sorry, buddy. Yeah. Speaking of which, we need to get on here and refilm the intro. Rick needs to get out here at some point. But, you know, we'll see. Also, guys, a little bit of news. I made friends with someone who is into raw feeding of dogs. And I'll let her get up here and get on screen and talk to you about her reasons for it and why she does it, and all about detoxing and how it helps your animals. Now, she's still convincing me about this, but there is something we need to talk about when it comes to animals and SHTF. When the Schumer hits the circulation device, we all generally agree that we're either prepping for an EMP, economic collapse, civil unrest. But one of the constants within each of our scenarios is the trucks quit traveling. The 3 days of supplies at the local grocery store is going to be bought up, used up, and not resupplied. That just seems to be the general consensus within the community, whether you are doing this from a religious perspective or whether you are doing this from an economic perspective. Generally, we talk about how the trucks will stop, the supply lines will dwindle. And if you look at it when you go into Walmart right now, the way they've rearranged the shelves, all the full shelves are kept right about chest level to eye level. But if you start looking low, there are fewer and fewer full shelves there. I'm not going to say that we're starting the second depression, but I am going to say the warning signs are there. So, keep your wits about you. But, back to the raw feeding and why I went down this path. You have the truck stop. Well, old Roy, Purina, and all them there wonderful companies that take Tyson's leftovers and ground them all up into chuck and add sawdust and everything else to the mix and sell it to you to feed to your animals are not going to be shipping it in as frequent loads to your local Walmart store. And if you can't get the food for your dog, what are you going to do? Do you know what you can feed your dog? Do you know what you cannot feed your dog? Everyone seems to know that you can't feed your dog chocolate, but what else can you? Or what else can you not?
Onions.
Onions, yes. Actually, some sources say don't feed your dog garlic. I'm going to say in small amounts it works because fleas don't like garlic, and the garlic sweat that comes out of a dog is pretty cool. But you got to be careful. All information given on this channel is for entertainment purposes only and is not supposed to, in any way, shape, or form, be used as medical, political, or legal advice or some such moronic statement. But yeah, if your supply lines are busted and you can't get your dog food, most people are going to talk about just grabbing the leftovers out of the deer carcass and feed them to the animal. Well, our friend is going to sit down and talk with us about the parts of an animal that we can eat, the parts of the animal that we cannot eat, or the dog cannot eat, sorry, and what we are going to do with that. So I'm looking forward to that one. We're going to probably do some filming on it this weekend. But meanwhile, we are still getting our greens. I think we've got enough to do a small pot of something. Go ahead.
This is only for foraging and home entertainment, home food, because if you notice how labor intensive it is, there is no way that the lamb's quarters will ever be grown commercially for food.
Yeah, because you have to pick every individual leaf off the stem. There's no, I mean, couldn't a machine be made that'll just kind of pare it off?
I'm not smart enough to make one. But if you wanted to wash them, cook them, and then use your teeth to spit out the stalk the stems, you could do that, but this is much more pleasant to eat. Do you want to go cook some?
Yeah, let's go cook some of these.
Rather than cook them as a substitute for Swiss chard in a recipe, why not just cook them as if we had brought home raw spinach from the
Okay.
grocery store?
Sounds good.
And then we can always come back and finish plucking.
Deleafing the plant.
Yes, but we won't bored the people. We might discourage them if they realize how labor intensive this it really is.
Well, I don't think you guys could actually see my hands because the placage of the camera. So here, give me a second. Let me cut this off. Hey, the prepper doesn't have a knife on him. Gotta love it. All right, we'll just tear. So what's been going on is each individual leaf has been clipped off with my hands just at the end of the stem and then put in here. Each single leaf is inspected. I'm sure we could put it on a assembly line, do it like Tyson's chicken does, run it down, have some guy who debones it, destalks it, whatever. The next guy starts picking. I don't know. I'm sure it's doable on a commercial level, but I'm a firm believer in work smarter, not harder. And quite frankly, assembly line work stinks. I have a best friend who does assembly line work for Tyson's, and yeah, no, that guy has my extreme admiration. Yeah, so I've been running my mouth for a few minutes now, and yeah, I'm barely halfway up this stalk that I broke off. So yeah, labor intensive, pain in rear. So, all right, guys, magic time. We're going in. Yeah, we're gonna go to the kitchen now. See you in a second. Hey guys, welcome back. So yeah, warning, prepping in progress. Leaving the camera. Ooh. So this is what we spent, 20 minutes, 15 minutes plucking and while we talked. And yeah. So like I say, labor intensive for what you get out of it. Oh no, I dropped one. So we're just going to wash it real quick, kind of rinse it off here in the water. Run some water over it, kind of swish it out, trying to get the buggies out, trying to get the dirt off. There are other ways to wash these. We won't get into them due to not really relevant at the moment. So it looks like we've got them done. I would have used warm water instead of cold, but that's just me because I like warm water. Now, would you use soap on these? Probably not. I'm going to go back and get those in a second. Thank you. We're going to drop these into the cast iron. Keep in mind, cast iron is great for this. I love the taste of cast iron. For some reason, it always tastes better than regular pots and pans. Although I will say that I love Teflon. I really do, because nothing sticks to Teflon. Even though napalm sticks. Anyway, yeah, we're not going there. My Vietnam vets know what I'm thinking. Yeah. So, all right, hang on. We are about to put about an inch of water in here, and then we're going to move over toward the oven. That's about an inch and a half, I'm thinking. So yeah, we got some water, we got some greens. We'll add some salt and other things in just a minute. So stay with us. So yeah, we got this. We got it going. This thing called fire. Okay. You got to actually turn it on in order to get it to cook. There we go. We're going to get this turned on. Kind of like my mouth. Get it going. Now, keeping in mind, I'm not going to play with you. It's going to take a while. That water was very, very cold because I didn't use the hot water when I loaded this pan. We have put the lamb's quarters right there in the pot. Just turned the pot on. You all saw it. Now, I'm going to play. Even the late, great, we almost miss her, Miss Kim, will tell you that when I got into the kitchen, I had fun. So, I have salt and I have garlic. I have garlic salt. We're going to do some of this because nothing is complete without a little salt and a little garlic, or a little more garlic and a little more salt. Well, actually, too much salt. Yeah, anyway. And as I look through my friends, I see minced garlic. Now, I will say this. I am a believer, absolute believer, that you can never have too much garlic. Boosts the immune system, gives your stepdaughters bad breath so boys don't want to kiss them. It works. This is why Italian food forever. Maybe not, but you know. Okay. We've got garlic. We've got salt. I am not doing spaghetti seasoning in this just because I don't feel like it. But I will throw in a couple of basil pieces just for giggles. I could grab some chives. I could grab some other cumin, whole cumin seeds, and some of my other things. But no, we're not doing that. Now, I could tell you this stuff is beginning to boil. I could tell you this stuff is going. I'm not. I'm going to show you. It's not. But I do have a few itty bitty bubbles starting to form on top of the leaves. Oh my. This is starting to smell really good. Really awesome. As a matter of fact, I that was not cool, guys. Not cool at all. That kind of hurt. But what we're getting at is we're starting to get just a little bit of boiling at the bottom, a little bit of bubbles. And this is just a standard greens cooking dish. This is not any kind of special recipe. I could tell you to grab a half a stick of butter, put it in there. I could tell you to saute your onions in a separate dish, add some mushrooms, and portobellos are best. I could give you the whole spiel on going out into the woods to pick mushrooms and what you should and should not do. And honestly, go and find a professional and take a wild edibles class. And no matter what, wild edibles class, seriously, guys, there's one in Arkansas. I can try to put the contact information down below in the description. The guy is really cool. I've sat in on a couple of his classes, right down to lemon bars made with some kind of lemony herb that was found. So, yeah. Hey, we got it sizzling now. We actually have it going hot. We're going to let this go for a few minutes to cook. I'm trying to remember how many. about 5-ish minutes. So, although it's really going. Turn that down just a minute. But back to your wild edibles. Seriously, guys. Mushrooms, be careful. Everything else, go forth and use your books. Get the education. Get a deep understanding on what you can and cannot eat. Pick your favorites that will grow semi-autonomously and start, they used to call them what, victory gardens, where, during World War II, well, they would, garden for part of their food. But a lot of people would do the weeds. They would do the dandelions. They would do the cattails. They would do the lamb's quarters. And when it comes right down to it, as preppers, many of us are concerned with some kind of the end of the world as we know it, black swan event. We've got all the prepper fiction. I mean, shoot, I'm working my way through James Wesley Rawls. I just started Patriots again, and I went through Survivors first. Touched on Founders, but I couldn't, just couldn't. And I'm dreading when I get to that point in the series when I get to have to read Expatriates, because I just... Mr. Rawls, I love your books. I love your nonfiction books. How to Survive the End of the World as We Know It. Tools for Survival. Excellent book, sir. You're the grandfather of the American Redoubt movement, and I salute you. But Expatriates bogged down for me. I love you. I do, but it bogged down. So, but you're working on these books. You're reading these books. You're looking at how society can collapse. The collapse of the dollar. I'm at a point where toward the end of Survivors, one person mentions that while they were investing in silver, they really should have been investing in bullets and magazines because they actually have a higher trade value than straight across to silver. Anyway, the economy's collapsed the whole night. We all talk about this. Oh, the economy is going to collapse. It's all going to go down, man. Okay. How many weeds in your yard can you eat? And we hear crickets. I admit, I'm lacking. So, I'm lacking on quite a few things right now because I have Rick, my forager, and, he should be here. He should be helping me with this. He should be yelling at me, "You're doing it wrong!" I'm sure he's sitting there watching this right now. We're over 20 minutes at this point. The ads have kicked in at least twice, and you had to either clip through them or, But Rick, I'm sure he's going, "Okay, dude, I've got a lot of comments." Rick, give me a VR on our own channel about this. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what's going on here. Let's find out. Well, it's not quite the consistency of boiled spinach. It's still kind of has its own shape. Okay, so not real crisp as in uncooked. Very, very cooked at this point. Good tasting. The flavor, wow. So I'm going to bring this over to you. And I'm just using a simple boil the kids, boil the veggies recipe. I can let it sit as long as I want now. That's a little more crispy than boiled spinach. But let's talk for a minute. Two things. I guess I'm hitting all the plugs today, huh? Black and White Fire Starter. Our buddy Paul. let's say we actually do it. Let's say that the whole shebang cuts out. You have no gas for your propane stove. You're on wood. I'm just going to tell you right now. Go to Etsy. Go to the Black and White Fire Starter Etsy store. Paul's got some of the best fire starting kits out there. 3 sparks off of flint and steel makes me look like an expert. I can get a fire going like that. I wish we filmed this for you. The other day, my dad was outside trying to get a fire started. It's raining. He goes, I just can't get it going. I used Paul's kit. Use the flint and steel. Get a little bit going. And pretty soon we had a fire the size of my kitchen going. Brush pile. So, Paul's kits work. Get out there, Mr. Outdoorsy, the Etsy store of Black and White Fire Starter. Pick up a kit. In the comments, mention that we sent you. Not our comments, the order comments over on Etsy. And who knows? Maybe he'll say hi. If he'll tell us that you bought from him, we'll mention you in a next video. So, anyway, I'm going to let my dinner finish cooking because it's 3:13 on a Friday. This is probably not going up tomorrow for Shabbat. But, yeah, I will probably do something. Actually, my understanding is that Rick's got tomorrow. I'll do some editing this afternoon, have it ready to go maybe. All right, love you guys. Thanks for watching Prepping in Progress. I am so out of here.